Canada is one of the most popular study destinations in the world, attracting hundreds of thousands of foreign students every year. However, the federal government has recently announced some changes to the study permit and post-graduation work permit (PGP) requirements that may impact prospective and current international students. Here's some of the key points you need to know. Temporary cap on Canadian study permits being issued. On January 22, 2024, the federal government announced a 2-year intake cap on study permit applications being approved. It is expected that approximately 360,000 new study permits will be issued to international students in 2024, 35% decrease compared to 2023. The cap for 2025 will be determined at the end of the year. Each province and territory will also have a cap on the number of new international students being enrolled in undergraduate programs. Provinces that have seen the most unsustainable growth in international students will see sharper cuts in their study permit allocations. The government said the cap is necessary to address the challenges posed by the rapid increase of international students in Canada, such as housing affordability, labor market integration, and educational quality. The cap is also meant to target bad actors in the education sector, such as unregulated or low-quality institutions that exploit international students or facilitate immigration fraud. Changes to post-graduation work permit (PGP) eligibility criteria. The PGP is a popular program that allows international students who have completed an eligible program at a designated learning institution (DLI) in Canada to work in Canada for up to 3 years after graduation. The work experience gained through the PGP can help international students qualify for permanent residency under various immigration pathways. However, starting from September 1, 2024, international students who begin their study programs in private colleges delivering licensed curriculum will not be eligible for PGPS. This means that students who enroll in programs offered by private colleges that are authorized to deliver curriculum developed by public colleges or universities will not be able to apply for PGPS after graduation. The government said this change is to ensure that international students are receiving high-quality education and are not misled by unscrupulous agents or institutions. On the other hand, students who have completed master's programs in Canada will soon be able to get 3-year PGPS instead of the current 2-year limit. The government said this change is to recognize the value of master's degrees and to attract more highly skilled international students to Canada. Changes to Spousal Open Work Permit eligibility. Spousal Open Work Permits (SOAPs) are temporary work permits that allow the spouses or common law partners of international students to work in Canada while their partners are studying. SOAPs are valid for the same duration as the study permit. However, starting from September 1, 2024, only spouses of international students enrolled in master's, doctoral, or professional programs will be eligible for SOAPs. Spouses of international students enrolled in undergraduate or diploma programs will no longer be able to apply for SOAPs. The government said this change is to align the SOAP eligibility criteria with the PGP eligibility criteria and to ensure that SOAPs are not used as a backdoor to enter the Canadian labor market. Updated cost of living requirements for international students. One of the requirements for obtaining a study permit is to prove that the international student has sufficient funds to cover their tuition fees, travel expenses, and living costs. In Canada, the minimum amount of funds required for living costs has been $10,000 for 2 decades. However, starting from January 1, 2024, the minimum amount of funds required for living costs will be increased to $20,635. Based on the Statistics Canada benchmark for low-income cutoffs, the amount will be adjusted annually to reflect the changes in the cost of living. The government said this change is to ensure that international students have adequate financial resources to support themselves and their dependents in Canada, and to reduce the risk of financial hardship or exploitation. The new cost of living requirement will only apply to new study permit applications received on or after January 1, 2024, existing international students will not be affected by this change.